I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. The Waukee High School girls soccer team in Iowa are having a great season so far, but one of their managers considers it a success for another reason. Reina Garcia has a story.
On the Waukee girls soccer team, every member has a role.
Thanks, Michael.
Including team manager Michael Nelson.
He's got definite authentic energy and enthusiasm. He loves every moment of the program.
For the last 4 years, Michael has brought energy, positivity, and plenty of smiles to the program.
He's always there for us, and he's always asking us, and he's like, hey, how are we going to do today's game?
Whether he's gathering soccer balls, helping clean up after practice, or breaking out his signature dance move, the scuba, Michael always finds a way to lift up the people around him. But behind that smile is a story of perseverance. His mom, Jen, recalls the moment their lives changed forever.
During class, right? You probably don't even remember. You were a second grader. But yeah, he just had a slight staring spell. Teacher's first year, Miss Sheets?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Miss Sheets.
Miss Sheets, and yeah, she knew what to do. She knew it wasn't right.
Michael was diagnosed with epilepsy in second grade. Since then, doctor's appointments, medication changes, and seizures have all become part of daily life. Every year has brought new challenges, but none of them have taken away Michael's positive spirit. Even brain surgery back in January couldn't keep him away from the pitch.
I was worried at the beginning when I was still in the hospital. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to be a manager.
Michael made it back to the team in time for his senior season.
Here I am, a manager, so that's happy news, right?
While there are still challenges ahead, one thing is certain. Michael will continue to face them the same way he always has, with a smile on his face.
That was Reina Garcia reporting from Iowa. A young boy in Buffalo continues to battle a type of leukemia, but as of January, he's reached the maintenance stage. Courtney Courtwright caught up with him as he got a big surprise from his fellow students. Take a look.
Sometimes you don't even have to look far.
We all really felt Eddie's journey when we heard it.
To find inspiration.
His story and the fact that he's so persevering and fighting and strong.
He fights on and keeps going and is so positive even through a tough time.
It's something easily seen in fourth grader Eddie Golden.
It feels awesome that I'm here and I made it this far.
Eddie was diagnosed with T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia last April. Now 10 years old, he's in maintenance.
I just fight my hardest every day.
His strength inspiring students to perform this fight song at Starpoint Middle School.
So when you saw the performance on stage, what went through your mind?
How much love I get and everything.
A tribute built on Eddie Golden's resilience and courage.
He is such a strong trooper.
And a reminder.
Stay golden.
Just like Eddie Golden shines every day.
And that was Courtney Courtwright reporting from Buffalo, New York. Students across Charlotte, North Carolina got to dance the day away. I am a little jealous. The school district held a prom for students with special needs. Larry Sprinkle has more about the glitz, the glam, and the good time.
High school proms always create special moments, and the annual Glam Exceptional Students Daytime Celebration is custom made for the students within the EC program.
And it's just a great day for the kids to experience prom and experience each other. We have our general education kids come in to help plan it, help put it, or help decorate, and then to just interact with the kids and make everything amazing.
West Charlotte High School is where it all happens. Students from Mallard Creek High, Julius L. Chambers, and West Charlotte were there for the festivities.
The students are absolutely love it, and so they're excited about it. Just this morning, we had the makeup team come over to Mallard Creek High School, and it was about 7 or 8 makeup artists, and the kids got all glammed up. and they were so excited about that.
Students from Mallard Creek High School started at 8 a.m. getting complimentary hairstyles, makeup, and a beautiful gown, tuxes for the guys. Essence was all smiles and ready. She made sure she had the moves to go along with her glamorous look. So are a lot of your friends out here today?
Yes.
Yeah, and are they having a good time?
Yes.
Kimberly Aldridge is a teacher in the Exceptional Children's Extensions program.
We are so happy that they decided to join us so all the kids can mingle. Some of them know each other from middle school, so they haven't seen each other in a long time. So this is their first time seeing each other since, transferring to high school. So it's always a good time and bring back memories for them. They get to see some of their old teachers, so it's always a good time.
From the customized makeovers to great food to that non-stop dancing, it was a day every student felt like a superstar, a day of celebration and unforgettable moments. At West Charlotte High School, Larry Sprinkle.
They were moving. All right, moving on to our next story here. The American Dental Association says there is a nationwide shortage of dental hygienists. Now, as a way to hopefully help ease a concern, a college in Colorado is working to fill that gap while also offering low-cost dental care to those who need it. Amanda Gilbert shows us the new program the college launched this year.
Sitting through a class can sometimes feel like pulling teeth. At Front Range Community College in Fort Collins,
oh, yeah, there it is.
That's not always a bad thing.
Right there.
Barriers to dental care can keep people out of the chair.
It had been 5 years, I'm embarrassed to say.
Mimi Ferry knows that all too well.
Since COVID, it's been harder for me to access healthcare just through busyness and my kids, and I had spent a lot of time taking my kids to the dentist, but realized I hadn't come.
Mimi is one of the 150 plus new patients who've gotten a teeth cleaning at Front Range this year.
And I'm going to have Mimi rotate away from me.
The college offers low-cost care from dental hygiene students with faculty supervision.
Watch your pen grasp, too. I oversee as they're actually working.
Supervisor Gretchen Dunn says this helps students.
They need to see all of the variations in real humans as opposed to the textbook, perfect mouth.
She hopes it can help people in the community, too.
Typically, we serve people who either have a difficult time finding a dentist who takes their insurance or people who are underinsured as a whole.
And what's going on in your mouth can impact your entire body.
There's a shortage in care right now.
There's so few dental hygienists. In fact, if I stop and talk to a dentist, they're like, send some my way. I want some dental hygienists, please. Pay attention to your angle of your edge right on the tooth and making sure it's right in that spot.
These cleanings do take longer than usual.
A typical appointment is about 3.5 hours.
The extra time is worth it for students who are closing a gap in care.
Nice. So that the tooth that you're working on
in
is
Fort Collins, Amanda Gilbert.
Like closest to the ceiling.
Just off the road, about an hour north of Austin, Texas, sits a church that's been standing for more than 100 years now. The community around it may have faded away, but now a local history group is working to make sure its story doesn't disappear too. Jasmine Caldwell takes us inside a piece of history frozen in time.
On this busy back road on FM 2843 near Salado sits an old abandoned church. Inside the historic Willingham Springs Baptist Church, dusty wooden pews still line the sanctuary. Broken windows let the Texas wind blow through the building, and abandoned Bibles remain scattered inside. But to Keith George with the Bell County Historical Commission, this church is far from forgotten.
But for me, being in here, you just feel the history. You can feel it.
The church was organized in 1911 and completed in 1914 by farming families who once called the tiny Willingham Springs community home. For years, the church also doubled as a one-room schoolhouse, serving local children until 1937. Keith says churches like this once served as the heartbeat of rural communities.
And they also had gatherings here. This was churches were often social places. And so these are the places that changed our history. These are the places, they shaped our history. They made us a part of who and what we are.
Today, the church sits weathered and worn, but Keith and others are now working to preserve what remains. They started a historical marker refurbishing program with a goal of refurbishing around 75 to 100 markers across Bell County this year.
These markers really need to be restored and brought back to their original value.
Keith says restoring a marker takes patience, sanding, repainting, and sealing it so the stories etched into Texas history can survive for years to come. He's inviting the community to help restore and learn more details about these markers.
It takes about 2 hours to get one marker done. And then it's good for another, probably 15 years.
And while the Willingham Springs community itself has nearly disappeared, Keith believes preserving places like this church keeps Bell County's past alive for future generations.
They're sacred grounds because they just, you can feel that energy from them places at times.
That was Jasmine Caldwell reporting from Texas. A chef is balancing the kitchen spotlight with a mission to fight hunger across San Diego. We'll show you how he is being honored for his time and talents. Also ahead, a K-9 in Georgia is retiring after a decade of service. How one life-saving case made the bond with his handler unforgettable. A chef from San Diego is putting his star power behind an important cause. Here's Jeff Zevely with more.
Feeding San Diego has assembled a strong team of people to distribute food across the county. But it helps to have a few all-stars. After mastering his craft in New York, Chef Travis Swickard returned to San Diego.
Yeah, I feel very privileged that I get to live my passion and my dream.
Chef Travis owns 2 restaurants, Florette in UTC and Cali in the East Village. But it's this food that's his top priority today.
I always say I think it's important to, if you see an issue or a problem out in the world, start with one small step.
Chef Travis and his family are touring Burbank Elementary, where 95% of students qualify for free or reduced priced meals.
Over 100,000 children in San Diego are food insecure.
Allie Colbrand from Feeding San Diego has partnered with Chef Travis for 5 years. His Parents with a Purpose fundraiser in February raised $500,000.
That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. That's the equivalent of 1 million meals we raised in one night.
Some of that money will now help families in Barrio Logan. And because Chef Travis has given so much, Feeding San Diego is opening this pantry in his honor.
Due to our current economic, sociopolitical situations that's happening, we struggle still with certain aspects of life, including food scarcity.
Francisco Solis, the school's principal, talked about the importance of providing food.
This is one less thing that our families have to worry about.
Feeding San Diego hopes to open 100 food pantries at Title I schools. Chef Travis and his wife Mia hope to show their children, Taylor and Trevor, that success is about more than your net worth.
Money's part of the equation for business, but for us, this is the true part that fuels us.
Chef Travis is working 90 hours a week, yet here he is.
Some beans. Enjoy.
Feeding hungry families.
We are a low-income neighborhood with a lot of working parents, but even like that, we have big families as well.
Rosie Torres has 4 children and appreciates the ingredients for healthy meals.
The cabbage and the oranges and the beans. My kids are bean lovers.
Chef Travis was born and raised in San Diego. This is his community.
Food is what gives you life, and I think it's so important that every single person has the opportunity to have nutrition in their body.
Which is why Chef Travis loves serving food and, more importantly, people.
Chef Travis is a rock star.
That is awesome. That was Jeff Zevely reporting from San Diego. A K-9 in Georgia is hanging up the leash after a decade of protecting the community. Police K-9 Dixo retired after years of helping officers track down suspects, recover evidence, and find missing people. For his handler, this is more than just a retirement. Jasmine Lee shows us the four-legged partner and the bond beyond the badge.
For years, Dixel's job has been to help officers find who or what they're looking for, and now that's come to an end. Years of trust and training built one command at a time. Step, search, respond again and again. Attaboy! Since 2017, K9 Dixel and Sergeant Shane Mann have worked side by side. They've answered every kind of call together, from drug searches to tracking runaway suspects. But for Sergeant Mann, one case stands out the most. An 8-year-old boy went missing deep in the woods, but after Dixel picked up a scent, he led his handler straight to him. From that case to dozens of others, the bond began to grow. And even now that the routine has slowed, that bond hasn't.
He's my dog. I mean, he's wasn't a pet whenever he was actively working, but he was a member of the family. And now that he's retired, he still comes to the door with me in the morning like, okay, let's go, I'm ready. And after years of working side by side, the partnership doesn't end. It just changes form. Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee.
I love that story. I think he deserves some extra treats every other day, and I'm sure he is ready to jump back into being on duty at moment's notice. All right, coming up after the break, one mom in Idaho is raising 2 daughters on the autism spectrum while also navigating her own diagnosis. We'll show you how she's creating spaces for other families to feel included. And ahead in our next half hour, a cross-country test of strength, endurance, and healing for a group of American veterans. How one Georgia man's journey goes far beyond the finish line. A mom in Idaho has a nonprofit dedicated to supporting families in her community, and she has big dreams for the future. Maggie O'Mara has more.
Dana Batts is a proud mom of 2 little girls.
Aurora and Lila are 9 and 8 years old. They're both on the spectrum.
They both have autism. So does Dana.
I was actually diagnosed last year high functioning. We all have a different story. We all have different levels, different challenges every day. So I love wearing this shirt because it reminds people.
A few years ago, she started Lila's House in honor of her little girl, a nonprofit with big ideas. Her goal, to reimagine how the world welcomes and cares for people with autism.
Our big goal is to actually build a state-of-the-art autism school right here in the Treasure Valley, where our environment is made and tailored to them. The curriculum is tailored to them.
Until that multi-million-dollar dream can come true, Dana is doing what she can right now to support autism families in Idaho.
We make sensory spaces. We bring them to events. They are able to be rented, and we have different configurations. And these are our kid ones. We've got some pillow loungers in there. We've got some tablets, some fiber optic lights, and some headphones so that they can listen to music. We have our rocking chairs because it's just great for sensory reset and also that calming effect. We've got our tablets in here so that they can listen to music while they're in here and just get that full reset. When we drop this down, it is almost completely pitch black in here, and it's not just for the autism community, it's just anybody that's sensory sensitive. So it can even be for veterans like myself.
Dana proudly served in the Air Force.
I was in Saudi, so I am a disabled veteran. I'm 100% service-connected disabled.
She knows the struggle veterans feel at big events too. These sensory spaces are also for them.
There's so many people in this community that get left out, and it's unintentional. What you don't know, what you haven't experienced or what you don't understand, it's not your fault, you know?
Lila's House has helped so many kids and adults reset, and now Dana is focusing on rebranding.
So we actually are going to be changing it to the Autism House. We've learned along our journey that the puzzle piece can be a really offensive logo and symbol. So now we want to take that out of it as a whole. That way everyone feels safe to come work with us.
Right now, a resource center for autism families is something she is passionate about creating, a place where people can come together and get the support they need. The foundation is fundraising and looking for a space for that now.
The more we're able to expand and do things that are more friendly for our community, the more people we can reach, and that's the goal.
Another goal, a mobile unit, something she can take on the road to help bring services to more families.
We want to be able to take it all over Idaho.
And there is another big part of her mission: autism education for law enforcement agencies. Dana had the incredible opportunity to speak at the Idaho Chiefs of Police Conference in June.
So I go out there and I train them on how to see things a little bit differently, how to communicate with families. The perspective I teach from isn't about sitting there and lecturing people. It's about having an understanding of each other. Let's talk, let's communicate.
Dana is hoping that with a little bit of help from the people of Idaho, the Autism House will just keep growing, and she can keep making a difference for families.
I really want to expand.
Dana Batts, a mom on a mission.
I really want to get more out there into our community to be able to provide so much more.
That was Maggie O'Mara reporting from Idaho. Still to come on Featured this morning, for one Arizona couple, retirement comes with a surprise they never saw coming. The emotional send-off after decades of service. And a top honor for generations of women, all from the same family. Each a valedictorian and all from the same school. We'll have a look at their impressive legacy. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. It's been a long road for one marathoner determined to make an impact. He's been on a circuit of distance races to honor his late mother, who died from Alzheimer's disease. Jim Altman has more.
What Doug McLean is doing is a running tribute of sorts, and this is a case of going miles for the cause.
A double knot and a single goal.
The running project. Yeah, marathon project.
We have an amazing volunteer who has run 6 marathons across the globe for his mom, who had Alzheimer's and then she passed away from Alzheimer's.
Over the past 3 years, Doug McLean has put in the legwork.
Yeah, I ran my first marathon in 2023 with New York City, and basically since then I've been running them back to back, from New York to Boston to Chicago to Berlin to Tokyo to London.
It's been a marathon mission for Doug.
Kind of cool way to remember them all.
Who's running to honor his mother Eileen's memory. She died in November after a decade-long fight against Alzheimer's disease.
Just raising money and awareness for Alzheimer's. My mom was diagnosed 10 years ago. She passed away this November from it, but she battled it for 10 years, and it's been kind of my way to get involved, give back. We're over 100,000 at this point for different organizations all related to Alzheimer's and dementia.
Right by the Alzheimer's Association offices in Farmington, we found Doug taking a training run at the West Hartford Reservoir. And the husband and dad from Greenwich continues to pick up his pace. Purple laces and all.
Every step he takes brings us closer to finding new treatments and new ways to manage this disease.
You could do something. It's volunteering, it's donating, it's getting involved, it's bringing other people into it. I think we all have a purpose to give back some way, somehow. This is just mine, and I'm doing it for my mom. So whether it's a marathon, it's a walk, I'll always be involved.
In West Hartford, Connecticut, Jim Altman for Featured.
A group of wounded veterans is taking on a powerful challenge: a 250-mile bike ride from Florida to New York City. And for one Georgia Army veteran, the journey is about much more than endurance. Here's Joe Ripley.
Frank Rysak feels free riding his bicycle. He fought for freedom in the Army for 2 years as a combat engineer.
Exercise gone wrong?
A high-risk job that led to hip and lower back injuries.
The injuries essentially kind of aggravate even worse and stuff. Nerves become pinched and things, that didn't happen before started happening.
After years of healing, Rysak is now ready to roll out on Soldier Ride 250. The adaptive cycling program includes 80 veterans as part of the Wounded Warrior Project. The route covers 250 miles from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way to Ground Zero in New York City.
The commonality is service to our country and, signing the dotted line and putting the country first before themselves.
Jonas Harmon, Associate Director of the Soldier Ride program, says veterans show pride and gratitude for the soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice over the nation's 250-year history.
Bring them together, allow them to connect, allow them to share their stories, allow them to create and grow their networks for support.
Since training for the Soldier Ride last year, Rysak says he's lost 50 pounds, logging about 100 miles a week and building confidence along the way.
You have a lot of this kind of apprehension of going out, making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself in a position where, you have the PTSD, you have the anxiety, you don't want to be out there, you don't want to be in public.
But struggling alongside his fellow vets, working together, cycling with the same mission, keeps him pedaling mile after mile.
So for me, it's an outlet.
And that was Joe Ripley reporting from Georgia. For one Arizona couple, retirement comes with a lot of hugs, happy tears, and 58 years of memories. A husband and wife who spent decades teaching and shaping young lives got a surprise they will never forget. Kyle Simchuk was there for the celebration.
For decades, Mark and Trinka Henderson have spent their days showing up for students. But this week, the students, families, and staff at Gilbert Christian's Greenfield campus showed up for them.
It has been very tricky keeping this secret.
And getting a cafeteria full of elementary kids to stay quiet. Everyone watching and waiting for this door to open. The Hendersons thought they were heading into a staff meeting, but to their surprise, a gym full of current and former students and their families, ready to celebrate 2 careers built on heart.
I couldn't believe how many people were here. I thought it was just going to be the staff.
Trinka has been teaching for 40 years. She's known for challenging her first graders, encouraging them, and always being ready with a hug when they need one, and calls her classroom her happy place.
Because they give such unconditional love. I just love it. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Her husband Mark spent 18 years teaching middle school, winning over students with humor, mentorship, and his famous Snack Shack reward booth. Together, they become fixtures on campus.
They're a dynamic duo, and they teach with their heart. They love their kids. They check on them if they're sick or if they were absent, or they just really both go the extra mile.
Even showing up for school plays and weekend sports. For the Hendersons, the best part of teaching was the relationships.
I fall in love with my families. I have lifelong friends from the families that I've taught their kids. And, some of them are adults now. Yeah. I've had kids of kids.
I just love the fact that she gets them as the first graders. I get them when they get to 6th grade, and we can watch them grow from there.
Now, after 58 combined years in education, the couple is preparing for retirement. Well, sort of.
No, we won't sit still.
I have a feeling she's going to be doing something. I'll probably be back on campus subbing or helping out.
In Gilbert, Kyle Simchuk.
Casey Crafton was among 67 people killed in a plane crash over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. Back in January of 2025, Crafton was also a beloved coach for his son's Little League team in Salem, Connecticut. Well, Salem Little League honored his memory by dedicating a field in his name. Here's Jamel Johnson with more.
Stepping onto this field now means a little more to players and coaches with the Salem Little League. This field now bears the name of the late coach Casey Crafton, and it's a place where so many young athletes get their start swinging a bat.
In memory of Coach Casey Crafton. Bravo.
Coach Casey Crafton Field is now home to the teams a part of the Salem Little League. The dedication was more than a year in the making, and President Jessica Fletcher says it's an important step towards immortalizing Coach Crafton's legacy.
One of the quotes that Dave West used on the ceremony was about how Casey, winning a game was important, but it was about building character and teaching these kids about confidence and kindness. And that is just huge.
The Little League dedicated the field to Coach Crafton before a game between his team, the Plum Tomatoes, and the Salem Prime Cuts. The ceremony sought to capture Coach Crafton's impact beyond the diamond and the effect he had on the players, fellow coaches, and parents.
One of Mitch Williams' sons got up and spoke just to Casey's personality as a coach to him, give his personal perspective on Casey as not only a coach in our league, but also as a friend and, just kind of as a good human.
And the tears haven't dried up yet. Easton Crafton, Casey's son, threw out the game's opening pitch and also served as the game's primary pitcher. After the game, this photo was taken of Easton showing him sitting on top of the dugout looking onto Crafton Field.
His mom took that picture and sent it to us this morning, and it was breathtaking. Sorry. It's just amazing to see, such a little guy sitting up there taking it all in. The dream would be like, so this field is now named after his dad, and maybe we get some lights, and it's the novelty of Salem and this beautiful field, and maybe one day he sits up there with his own son.
What was a second home to Casey and his family will now always be home to Crafton Field. It's a full diamond moment for the Little League.
We go to complexes all over, and they all have names on them, and a lot of times kids will say, oh, whose field is this, or who's that guy, or do you know why? And now we get to constantly reiterate Casey's legacy.
And that was Jamel Johnson reporting from Connecticut. What a beautiful way to make sure his memory lives on in the community. A local lighting company will also donate lights in Coach Crafton's honor to be installed at the field. This is all part of a project to help give players the experience of playing in prime time. One family in Georgia, for them, excellence isn't just encouraged, it's actually inherited. 4 women, 4 valedictorians, all from the same high school. Caitlin Ross has their story.
You have a lot on your plate.
Excellence doesn't start from scratch in the Victoria family.
I could do those things. I can do those hard things.
It's shared, shaped, and passed down. You can see it in their smiles and the standard they've set.
Having my grandmother, having my mother, having my sister, that they made it through to where they are now, and they were valedictorian as well.
At Adairsville High School, 4 women across 3 generations have all earned the same title, valedictorian.
Overwhelming sense of pride because I see the hard work that she has put in for all these years.
It started with Joan in 1961, then Sharon in 1995, then Callie in 2024, and now Savannah.
Hearing that title was just like, oh wow, this is amazing. Like, I'm proud to represent everything that I've been a part of.
And in this family, that legacy lives on in a single line.
I am a part of all that I have met.
I'm a part of all that I have met.
I am a part of all that I've met. And really, now I really do feel like I am a part of all that I've met and passed it on down.
4 valedictorians, 1 family, and a legacy still being written.
That is beautiful, and I'm sure the ladies in that family feel like they have some big shoes to fill, but luckily it's all good stuff. All right, that was Caitlin Ross reporting from Atlanta. Now Savannah is carrying on a family tradition that now spans more than 6 decades. And while there is a younger brother in the family, Mom Sharon says there's no pressure to make it to 5. For them, this has never just been about the title, but about becoming exactly who you are meant to be. I love that. Okay, still ahead on Featured this morning. Boys volleyball, now a high school sport in Minnesota. We'll introduce you to the impressive group of students putting a small town on the map. Plus, history and a high wire act literally come together in a Texas neighborhood. How the high flying stunt celebrates the community's past. Boys volleyball officially became a high school sport in Minnesota just last year, but you may be even more surprised by a team trying to make it to the playoffs. Boyd Hupert has their one-of-a-kind origin story.
Grab an Animal Farm novel and have a seat.
Mastering a language new to a people
Your words.
takes practice.
Satirical.
Satirical. A people
Contradictory.
who landed in a most unlikely place.
So this is the Chuukese flag. Think of it as like the Minnesota state flag. Chuuk is a state in Micronesia.
Micronesia, a nation made up of hundreds of Pacific islands, hosted a Peace Corps volunteer from Minnesota.
He brought a first family back to Milan, Minnesota. And from that, family followed family.
finding ready work at a nearby turkey plant. After 25 years, Micronesians now make up more than half the population of this prairie town that once welcomed Norwegian settlers.
Who did you say works for Napoleon?
But language
Dogs and ducks.
Come on! Light feet, light feet.
is not the only thing
All right, go.
mastered with practice.
Help, 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 help! We just play volleyball every day. Come on.
From the time they can walk, Micronesians have always played.
Volleyball. Yeah. Every day.
So for Abraham Chico and the others, the timing couldn't have been better.
I was really excited. Me too. Very pumped.
Pumped because last year, boys volleyball became Minnesota's newest high school sport. And here was Lac-Qui-Parle Valley High School, where nearly 1 of every 5 students is Micronesian.
We knew we could get a large chunk of our kids participating in this if we add this.
But even athletic director Zach Stelter didn't expect this.
A lot of kids, yeah.
So soon.
A lot of kids.
And not, you may notice, just any kids.
34 of 36 are Micronesian on our team.
Andrew Schmidt, assistant coach,
Good.
and head coach
Sit.
Molly Hennon immediately ran into a problem.
There's 0 teams within 130 miles.
Big schools play boys volleyball.
We're at the Spring Lake Park volleyball tournament. $10, please.
All right, ready?
But now warming up in the gym, little Lac-Qui-Parle Valley
Medals.
High School.
1, 2, 3.
Ever heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Here it comes.
You're about to. With no small school competition, Lac-Qui-Parle routinely travels 3 hours to play the powerhouses of Minnesota sports. Schools 10 times their size.
Lac-Qui-Parle.
Lac.
Schools still
What?
learning.
Lac or Powell? Woo!
Remember the boys' language teacher? That's Hope Schmidt, Instagramming and live streaming for parents who can't afford travel
Cover.
and weekends in hotels.
At this point, we don't have any home matches. So this is important that we keep them looped in on how the team's doing.
Pretty well against Forest Lake, by the looks of things.
I'm very proud of them.
Ashlyn Sarber moved from Milan to the Twin Cities.
I'm just so glad that I can see them, at least my nephews and cousins and all them boys.
JV beat Maple Grove at this last tournament, and we drove through Maple Grove leaving, and I said, everybody look, and their population was like 71,000. And I said, Milan is 400.
Unknown for now,
Lac-Qui-Parle Valley. Woohoo!
but remember the name of the undersized school
They're on fire.
with oversized dreams.
Good.
Boyd Hooper.
A neighborhood in Texas is celebrating its 42nd annual Main Street Fest, but some of the fun is happening above Main Street. Sean Giggy explains.
As the oldest city in Tarrant County, Grapevine has a lot of history. Much of it has been restored. The city will bring another piece of the past back to life.
We were like, what's something cool and different that we could do to pay tribute to Grapevine's past? And so they came up with this.
City spokesperson Elizabeth Schrack says back in 1914, to drum up publicity for the local theater, the theater's owner strung a high wire between 2 buildings. You can see him there in these grainy photos walking across it. This weekend, 112 years later, they're doing it again. As part of the 42nd annual Grapevine Main Street Fest, a group called Anti-Gravity Art will walk a high wire between City Hall and the Wallace Hotel.
They're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to be doing some amazing stunts.
There will be 6 30-minute shows over the weekend, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Whatever happens, it will be safe and secure.
They are tethered. There's a little tether down by their foot, you'll notice.
Guaranteeing the only thing that drops will be your jaw. Grapevine chose to do something bold and daring because this is its Golden Jubilee, honoring William D. Tate's 50 years as mayor. Tate recently announced plans to likely step aside in 2027. To honor him, a statue will be unveiled right here, directly beneath this skywalking spectacle, ensuring that Mayor Tate will go out on a high note. In Grapevine, I'm Sean Giggy.
For still to come, one Virginia husband is proving love doesn't fade, even when the memories do. And look at this, Elvis is involved. We'll show you how. Welcome back. What lengths would you go to for love? A Virginia husband says his passion knows no bounds. That's the way it should be. The proof is in the story you're about to see here. Here's Sean Martinelli.
The King, Elvis Presley.
Somewhere beneath those shades, there is a man who is not a singer, who is not a dancer, but a man who is in love. For 79-year-old Bruce Cushing, love means becoming the king to see his queen.
You light my morning sky, burning love. Woo! Nobody has a perfect life, but mostly good, and especially with Leslie. Very good.
Long before he moonlit as Elvis, Bruce was an airman. Leslie was a flight attendant.
I outran my coverage on her, and everybody knew it.
For someone who dreamed of becoming a pilot, Bruce says he found the person he loves even more than the skies. They vowed to spend their lives together, even when Alzheimer's eventually forced them apart. Now in memory care, Leslie can no longer carry a conversation, but Bruce still gushes over her like a kindergarten crush.
Can I have a kiss? It's so nice.
What's it like watching somebody go through that you love?
It's really tough. I didn't want to lose her. You got to just hang on tight. That's all you can do. So, and make the best of it. Yeah.
Which in Bruce's case includes this.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Elvis.
Bruce visits Leslie nearly every day. Occasionally, he brings his bell-bottoms and a pair of buddies to perform for a simple reason.
Deep down, music is one of the things I think people keep. And Elvis was just bigger than life. Once you put on that Elvis suit, you're Elvis. Plus, I'm a little nuts, so.
A little nuts, a lot in love.
And I've never seen another couple like that.
That's Life Enrichment Director Emily Jewell.
Their love is still there. It doesn't matter where the brain is, but in the heart, like, they're still there.
Which Emily says is especially evident during one song.
It's a song that kind of says it all for anybody who's in love. You know, wise men say only fools rush in. I'll sing it to her today. It's really nice. Take my hand. She's my girl. Simple. She's still the girl. Wise men say.
Bruce still cannot show us how to sing or how to dance, but here he makes up for both when he shows simply, deeply, how to love. In Fredericksburg, Virginia, Sean Martinelli.
Oh my goodness, Sean Martinelli, that's a tearjerker. I gotta pull it together. Okay, that's it for this episode of Featured. Until next time, make it a great one.